Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
It's the hour of desperation. The deadline has arrived as of this moment in the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping case, disappearance case. It's a story we really haven't touched on at all here, but tonight, as we go live at this hour, a ransom deadline for Nancy Guthrie is upon us. And we have live feeds coming from the home. We have the latest plea for help from Savannah Guthrie, Nancy Guthrie's daughter and media personality. And we'll bring you up to date on what is happening with that story. Also tonight, we'll take a look at what's happened with the Bad Bunny Turning Point USA feud, dueling halftime shows from yesterday's Super Bowl broadcast. And the fallout tonight is pretty severe and just showcases really the huge divide in America along, I would say, cultural, racial, and political lines. So we have all of that and a whole lot more coming up right here on Maverick News. Don't go away.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are Maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, defending free speech, Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
So we are live, bringing you the latest developments in the ongoing kidnapping case of Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of NBC's Today show co-host Savannah Guthrie. As of right now, it is 7:05 p.m. on this February 9th, 2026. The reported ransom deadline has just passed without any public resolution or new information from authorities. Now, we'll break it all down with the most current facts available here right now. First, a quick recap for context, and because we really haven't been covering this story because we've been so focused on the political side of things, and especially the Canadian side of the separation movement in this country. But back to this, I would say, another milestone moment in American history, because this is a story that I'm sure will be recorded as part of a crime story in America, as part of American culture and history. Nancy Guthrie was last seen at her home in the Catalina foothills near Tucson, Arizona, on the night of January 31st, 2026. Authorities believe she was abducted in the early morning hours of February 1st, based on evidence including signs of forced entry, blood found near the front door, and the disconnection of her pacemaker data, Around 1:30 a.m. local time, the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI are leading the investigation, treating it as a kidnapping. No suspects or persons of interest have been publicly identified to date. Now, over the past week, multiple unverified ransom notes have surfaced, sent to local media outlets like KGUN in Tucson. And these notes reportedly demanded initially $4 million in Bitcoin by a deadline of 5 p.m. Mountain Time, February 5th, which passed without reported payment or contact. The demands then escalated to $6 million, with a final deadline set for this hour, 7 p.m. Eastern. The notes included threats to Nancy's life if unmet, but law enforcement has not confirmed their authenticity and continues to analyze them for clues, even consulting artificial intelligence experts to trace origins and validity. Now, we have multiple live streams coming from the home at this hour. Let's just tap into one of them just to give you a sense of what's going on, not just at the scene, but also online tonight in the information ecosystem, the online social media sphere. So here we go. This is a feed coming from the Pascal Show. And bring this up. One moment. Here we go. He's got the Fox News
Interesting language
feed running.
again. She's very valuable to us. I don't know if the FBI negotiators are telling them to use this language. I don't know if this is language that has been elicited from some of these alleged kidnapping letters. I don't know. But it seems coded. And then you fast forward until Monday. Before she was talking to the kidnappers, and now she's just talking to the entire country. And she's saying she was taken. You have no idea where. We have no leads. And this is this big hour of desperation, but there is still hope. And it makes you think, are they getting and responding to different messages? Are some of the messages real? Are some of them hoaxes? They don't know what's real or not. And so you also wonder, are they being psychologically tortured? Is this maybe not about the money? Does someone have it in for the Guthrie family or Savannah Guthrie? Because the way this whole thing has gone down, it's so not the traditional way you deal with the kidnapping. You get proof of life, you get the money, and it's over. None of that has gone to that pattern. And
Facts.
so
that's facts.
then they do a sister search. This is like what, the third search of the sister's house at a very strange time. They do it at 11 o'clock on a Saturday night. I mean, it's dark. I mean, why would you do that then? And they're taking photographs.
Oops. Let me bring this up. We're going to come back to it. Here we go.
These devices again. And now they're searching the septic system. Was something flushed? Is there something in there? None of this makes any sense. And I think we should have some answers, in about 2 hours when this deadline comes out.
Harold,
and the deadline is here now, so this is actually an old feed.
Personal relationship with a family.
Still labeled as live,
what do you make
though.
of, as Jesse's saying, the sort of use and not of social media?
Let's pick up this discussion over at Duty
Ron.
Ron.
Sort of see these situations and think about, I would be screaming from the nearest.
Here we go.
Time. I wanted to go to you, Ed, on the investigation. Okay, 4 times. I think I counted 4 different times, and now the sheriff just talked about in a press statement, not verbal, just written, that there's going to be more activity. Is it good? Is it bad? You're an experienced crime scene, 2,700 plus crime scenes. Is it good or bad that they continually keep going back out there, and that gosh darn crime scene tape, it's down? There's not a patrol car in that driveway with the turret lights on, blocking people from coming in and out of there.
Well, I understand now there is. I understand now they put a vehicle there with an officer in front of the house. But But from what I was told, it was at the request of the neighbors. But yeah, I mean, the crime scene should have never. Okay, it should have been secured from day one to this very day that we're speaking here right now. Okay, yeah, are there times where like a high-profile major case like this are going to take twists and turns, and new information is going to be developed, and
We're going to go to the directly to the live feed just from the scene. Hang on. We had it. So again, this is live coverage from various streams as the deadline has now passed for the ransom payment on Nancy
new
Guthrie
press conferences today so far. He had originally said that they wouldn't hold any new press conferences until some sort of new evidence comes to light.
Ivan Rodriguez reporting for us this morning. Thank you. CNN's Josh Campbell is a former FBI agent, and he says that the Guthrie family, the fact that they're using social media to ask for their mother's release suggests that they have not established a line of communication with this possible abductor.
I've worked kidnapping cases where if there is an actual line of communication that is set up, that is treated sensitively, that is protected, that is not something that either the family nor the FBI crisis negotiators, for that matter, would actually be publicizing. And so the fact that we see this appeal, again, via social media tells us that they're essentially responding to the alleged abductor here via the medium that they have chosen, and that is sending information out via the press. There are a couple things in that video that I think are key for us to focus on. The first, that you actually hear Savannah Guthrie there, and again, this is heart-wrenching. I don't want to be too clinical about this, but they're essentially saying that, look, we understand the demand that you have made. They're appealing to the person who may have taken Nancy Guthrie, and then saying that, look, we will pay. And there is always a question. If there is a demand for a ransom, you know, I've been involved in these gut-wrenching decisions with family members where they're asking, members of the FBI, should we pay money? What should we do? At the end of the day, that is a decision for the family.
Some new developments in the search for Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's mother. Let me first play what Savannah Guthrie and her siblings posted on social media yesterday. Let's watch that.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
And so what was not in this video was the call for proof of life to show that they have her. Is that assuming that now they have that information?
Hard to say, Victor. We know this case is unprecedented. This is unlike anything we've ever seen. The age of the kidnapped victim, most kidnapped victims are under 21 years of age in the United States. These communications that are...
Yeah, 84 years old. So hang on a moment here. I have for you a new video that was, I think, posted earlier today, again from Savannah Guthrie. So let's get you the most up-to-date video. Again, pleading for the public's assistance here. There we go. Bring it up on screen for you. The latest message from Savannah Guthrie.
Hi there, everybody. I wanted to come on and just share a few thoughts as we enter into another week of this nightmare. I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all of the prayers and the love that we have felt, my sister and brother and I, and that our mom has felt. Because we believe that somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers and that God is lifting her even in this moment and in this darkest place. We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock trying to bring her home, trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know where. And we need your help. So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
What an unusual story. So again, like over the past week, they've had all these unverified ransom notes that have surfaced and sent to media outlets, including this television station in Tucson. The notes initially demanding $4 million in Bitcoin. That deadline for the ransom payment came and went on February 5th, and no payment was made at that time. The family is saying they will pay, but so far, still, I don't think any payment has been made, even though this ransom deadline has now come and gone. As far as we know, the payment has still not been made. And that demand for $4 million escalated to $6 million. And the notes included threats to Nancy Guthrie's life. And now that the deadline has come and gone, there's no indication of any payment being made. Reports from sources, multiple media sources, confirm that the publicly viewable Bitcoin wallet linked to the demands remain at a zero balance at this hour, with no transactions recorded. Experts, including former FBI officials, have noted that investigators appear uncertain if the notes are from actual kidnappers, emphasizing the lack of proof of life, such as a photo, video, direct communication, confirming Nancy Guthrie is alive and well. Without that, hostage negotiators typically advise against paying to avoid encouraging hoaxes or endangering the victim further. And now, in a heartbreaking update, just before this deadline, Savannah Guthrie posting this new video plea for help on social media. It was just posted just before we came online. She urged the public, as you just heard, regardless of location, to report anything suspicious, no matter how small, asking, pleading, if you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, report it to law enforcement. The family has repeatedly signaled they're willing to pay for Nancy Guthrie's safe return, but stressed the need for direct contact from the abductors. So this follows similar pleas over the weekend, where they shared personal stories about Nancy Guthrie to humanize her and appeal for help. Now, on the investigation front, authorities have been active over the weekend. The Sheriff's Department and FBI returned multiple times to Nancy's neighborhood, including examining a septic tank on her property and removing items from her daughter Annie's nearby home for analysis. The area around Nancy Guthrie's residence remains under guard. The search has entered its second week now with no arrests. The FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to Nancy Guthrie's safe return or the resolution of the case. They are asking for tips, and those can be submitted anonymously to the FBI tip line at 1-800-CALL-FBI or online at tips.fbi.gov. Sheriff Chris Nanos has emphasized that every lead is being pursued seriously, but details remain limited to protect the investigation. This case continues to unfold in real time right here On Maverick News, with no proof of life or new communication post-deadline, concerns for Nancy Guthrie's well-being are mounting. She's described as 5 feet 2 inches tall, about 110 pounds, with white hair, blue eyes, and she requires medication. Those specifics have not been released on that. So we're going to continue to stay on top of the story. At last word, no plans for a police news conference or public statement as of this hour or anytime this evening, unless there are real developments in the case. So we're just sort of on watch, keeping an eye on what's going on outside the home of Nancy Guthrie. And if there is anything new, we'll try to bring it to you live here while we're on the air this evening. And with that, let me take a little break. We'll move on, start digging into today's other top news stories, and then we'll, if needed, come back and provide an update on this story through the evening. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Yeah, so again, I'm just going to dip into this live feed. Just to give you a look at the scene. Here we go. Just to show you police vehicles, media camped out around the home. Sign of the current state of society. Media everywhere. It has become a media event. Everyone just waiting for some sort of development, just sitting there, waiting. You know, it's there's an old saying in media: hurry up and wait, and that's what they're doing at the scene, just waiting. And then when new information does surface, when there is a development in the story, then everybody will hurry up. It'll be a mad dash to get the information out first, because that's the way the media works, serving the public, but at the same time, it is, I guess you could say, a business. And information is where the value is. So they sit and they wait and they wait. And when something does happen that is significant, we'll bring it to you here too, or try to anyway, tonight. All right, let's move on, shall we? Did you guys watch that Super Bowl yesterday? Did any, you know, it was, I think, more about the halftime shows than the game itself, frankly. At least that's the way it seems tonight. Now, I'm not a huge football fan. I don't know a lot about football. I can appreciate the sport, I suppose, but I don't watch. I didn't even watch the Super Bowl yesterday, nor did I watch the halftime shows. Just one moment. I am going to fix this tab, which is slowing down the computer, which is one of our problems here. Okay. So, as you know, we've been having some technical problems, and that's one of the reasons why we're trying to wade through some of these problems. And I apologize last night for the abrupt end to our broadcast, but something happened twice, and we were taken down, and everything froze up, and we just weren't able to continue or get things reconfigured so we could come back online. And I could be a conspiracy theorist here and give you some reasons why I think that might happen, but we'll just say it's technical problems. That being said, we have other stories to cover tonight. And I guess the first thing we should talk about is this Bad Bunny stuff, right? Very controversial, very divisive, even though it was a halftime show that was supposed to bring the country together. And I can't believe, or maybe I can, how divisive the whole thing has been, how much fighting there has been as a result of the halftime show. And then the rival or dueling halftime show put on by Turning Point USA. Now there was a poll done. There were probably several. Who was it that did the poll? I can't remember. Might have been TMZ. Doesn't matter. Anyway, some conservative influencers posting that 67% preferred the Turning Point USA halftime show to the actual Super Bowl show featuring Bad Bunny, and then you had some other celebrities come on, other musicians, artists join Bad Bunny as surprise guests during the live stream. And it was, in anyway, slice it, it was a spectacle. It was an elaborate show, very over the top. I can't really show, I'm not going to show you much or any of it because of the copyright issues that we'll get struck down. But we do have reactions tonight, and that's really what the story is about this evening. Because some people, strangely, I think, I don't understand the mentality, honestly. Like, I don't subscribe to it. I understand where it's coming from, but I don't agree with the reaction that we've been getting from so many people on this. Like Megyn Kelly. Here, let me, I'll bring it up here. So she was on with Piers Morgan. Okay, here we go. Megyn Kelly. Here's the first one. A couple of clips from Megyn Kelly on Piers Morgan's show, highlighting what's really at the heart of the whole controversy. So her first clip, focusing on the show itself, and this is really Piers Morgan commenting on this tonight. I'll run the clip and then discuss.
I got up this morning and I watched it all without reading anything about it. I just thought, I want to watch this completely clean without anyone's view contaminating my brain cells. And I watched all 15 minutes of it. And I've watched every halftime show going back 30, 40 years. I thought as a piece of theater, it was the best I've seen. Just the most extraordinary kind of Broadway on steroids piece of theater. I also thought it wasn't remotely divisive politically in the end. His Grammys speech was, but his performance, I thought, was actually a lot of things which I would have thought people on the conservative right would applaud. It was about love. A couple actually got married. for real in the middle of it. He was preaching about unity, not just the United States of America, but the wider Americas. What was the problem, Megyn?
A certain male gesture is coming to mind, but I'm not sure I can do it on this show. No, it wasn't about what he was actually going to do during the middle of the Super Bowl performance. It's about him. It's about him being chosen as the Super Bowl performer, somebody who's been an outspoken critic, of course, of the Trump administration and of America and our policies. This is long before the current controversy over ICE. He doesn't want illegals deported from this country. Well, too bad, because the majority of Americans do want that and are not shy about pushing for it. And that's why President So he and his little buddies over at Green Day never miss a chance to bash the United States of America. I think those medications for your hip have gone too far. We need to dial back a pill or two, okay? We want something that we can all understand. I don't think Bad Bunny used his appearance to bash America, but I can't be sure because I didn't see any subcaptions on his Spanish language performance.
But what about Pavarotti?
They chose
What about Pavarotti?
two America haters.
What about Pavarotti, who Donald Trump in 2016 in particular would use at every campaign rally? He's used it at the RNC, right, as a triumphant, tub-thumping anthem. Well, no, hang on. Not only Pavarotti.
I've been to lots of Trump rallies. Pavarotti gets a song, maybe
but
two.
He sings, but when he sings Nessun Dorma in Italian, I don't see you leaping up and down going, I can't understand a word of it.
True. I'm going to look in the chat. Did you guys watch the Bad Bunny show or the Turning Point USA event? I'm curious to get your comments on it. Marie and I watched it. It was definitely different. Lindy, thank you. I don't know who you're thanking. Lindy, so silly fighting over music. It gets exhausting, says Cindy. Rosemary Mack, don't like crotch grabbing and twerking in front of kids. And Lindy, were they doing that? Stoic teacher, no. Be lovely. Hi, Maverick family. Well, hello back, be lovely. Well, I will say this. I know that there were sexually explicit lyrics that were used during the performance in Spanish. That has alienated a lot of people on the right, especially the Christian right. That's being highlighted by conservative streamers who are, I think, looking for ways to attack Bad Bunny and attack the performance. And of course, Donald Trump posting on Truth Social. Well, let's go over there and see what Trump actually did post about it. We should be able to log in over there. Yeah. There it is. Oh my goodness. 1 hour ago, he just posted something about Canada. I'll share that with you in real time. A new post about Canada from DJT. Let's take a look, and then we'll come back to this whole Bad Bunny Super Bowl controversy. What's he saying about us now? As everyone knows, the country of Canada has treated the United States very unfairly for decades. Now things are turning around for the USA and fast. But imagine Canada is building a massive bridge between Ontario and Michigan. They own both the Canada and the United States side, and of course built it with virtually no U.S. content. President Barack Hussein Obama stupidly gave them a waiver so they could get around the Buy American Act and not use any American products, including our steel. Now the Canadian government expects me, as President of the United States, to permit them to just take advantage of America. What does the United States of America get? Absolutely nothing. Ontario won't even put U.S. spirits, beverages, and other alcoholic products on their shelves. They're absolutely prohibited from doing so. And now, on top of everything else, Prime Minister Carney wants to make a deal with China, which will eat Canada alive. We'll just get the leftovers. Oh, poor America, poor Donald Trump. Just getting the leftovers from Canada. I don't think so, he says. The first thing China will do is terminate all ice hockey being played in Canada and permanently eliminate the Stanley Cup. I'll continue. The tariffs Canada charges us for our dairy products have for many years been unacceptable, putting our farmers at great financial risk. I will not allow this bridge to open. Oh my God. Until the United States is fully compensated for everything we have given them. And also, importantly, Canada treats the United States with the fairness and respect that we deserve. We will start negotiations immediately. I thought he didn't want to negotiate. I thought he didn't care. With all that we have given them, we should own perhaps at least one half of this asset. The revenues generated because of the U.S. market will be astronomical. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Oh my goodness. Yeah, well, we wouldn't want to lose ice hockey to the Chinese. I'm sure he's right about that. China will ban ice hockey in Canada and eliminate the Stanley Cup. I'm going to need a moment. I'll be right back.
Maverick News isn't just a news outlet, it's a community of truth seekers. Your donation at freedomreporters.com fuels our mission to report the stories that mainstream media won't touch. Thank you, Maverick family.
Brightleaf Innovations is excited to offer our newest investment opportunity. The Turn Easy Bed Storage Solution.
Turns with a touch, spins all the way around. Every little thing you need is easy to be found. No more clutter, no more mess on the floor. Just spin it, reach it, you don't search anymore. Turn Easy Bed, spin your world around. Storage made simple, the best you found. Shelves your way, keep the mess away. Charge it, store it, night or day. developed by Brightleaf Innovations. Proudly Canadian and patent pending in North America. Turn Easy Bed transforms how you live.
To learn more about this innovative new product idea, an exciting investment opportunity, call 519-784-0222 or visit brightleafinnovations.com.
Costs a lot of money to build a bridge. He's talking about the Gordie Howe International Bridge. This is a bridge spanning the Detroit River between Windsor and Detroit. And of course, the Ambassador Bridge is not in the best of shape. So this is a second span Ambassador Bridge. It needs a lot of work. It's very old. So this new bridge, the Gordie Howe Bridge, represents a major infrastructure project. It's aimed at easing congestion at the existing Ambassador Bridge, which handles a significant portion of cross-border trade between Canada and the United States. This new bridge began construction in 2018. Its completion is expected maybe sometime this year. Total projected costs, $6.4 billion, covering the bridge itself, new ports of entry on both sides, and connections to Interstate 75 in Detroit. And the business arrangement is structured on a 36-year public-private partnership under a design, build, finance, operate, maintain model with availability payments. And the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, which is a Canadian Crown Corporation, oversees the project and signed a fixed price contract in 2018 with the private consortium Bridging North America. This consortium handles design, construction, partial financing during the building phase, and ongoing operations, maintenance and rehabilitation. And payments from the WDBA to the consortium are performance-based, with deductions possible for failing to meet standards. And the initial contract value is $5.7 billion, split between roughly $3.8 billion for design and construction, and the remainder for operations over the concession period. So the entire project is funded by the Canadian government, with no direct U.S. federal or state funding contributed. You're welcome, Donald Trump. We're footing the bill. The costs are to be recovered through tolls collected solely on the Canadian side, with no tolls on the U.S. side. After recouping expenses, toll revenues are expected to be split with Michigan. It's not like you're not getting anything. The bridge is jointly owned by the Government of Canada and the State of Michigan under the 2012 Canada-Michigan Crossing Agreement. The WDBA, wholly owned by Canada, manages operations and toll collection. So you see, it's not quite as simple as the Trumpster would have you believe. Now, Canada effectively owns both sides because it fully financed and is constructing all of this infrastructure, including the U.S. port of entry and the I-75 interchange, as part of the crossing agreement to overcome delays and problems on the U.S. side. And Michigan lacked the funds or political will to contribute significantly, partly due to resistance from the private owners of the competing Ambassador Bridge, who lobbied against a new publicly owned crossing. In exchange for Canada's upfront investment, including advancing Michigan's share of about $550 million to be repaid via future tolls, Canada secured control over the project, including building and initially operating facilities on U.S. soil before handing the port of entry to U.S. Customs and Border Protection. And so this arrangement ensured the project moved forward with joint oversight via an international authority. And recent tensions, of course, as we are seeing even here tonight, including Trump's demands for renegotiation and at least 50% U.S. ownership highlight ongoing debates over the deal's equity, but the bridge remains on track. Well, it did remain on track for opening until about an hour ago. Do you think the United States might benefit just a little bit from an international crossing, a bridge connecting Canada and the United States? You know, where billions of dollars worth of trade crosses every year between Michigan and Canada. I think you might benefit just a little bit. All kinds of businesses, I mean, just in the local community on the other side, gas stations, tourism, Canadians saying, hey, we love you Canadians, come on over here and take in a Tigers game. Happens all the time. A Red Wings game, a Pistons game. Fantastic. Nobody wants to go there now because of this crap. Seriously, man. What is wrong with this guy? What is wrong with this guy? And it's not like the United States is getting a lot out of this. And Canada is putting up the money up front, building it because it has something that should be done, needed to be done. We're making the upfront investment. And we're all going to benefit. And in the long run, the U.S. is absolutely involved in this thing. It's just not, he just makes shit up. This guy. I'm seeing here, as a result of his frickin' post, I'm seeing responses to this from people. Here's a trucker. My God. Again, this is just so pathetic. Look. The trucking industry has your back, President Trump. We won't hesitate to block all traffic trying to enter the USA or allow traffic to cross into Canada. From Anthony the Saint. Fantastic. Okay, let's move. Let's go back to the Bad Bunny show. Unbelievable. Freaking believable. This guy. I gotta ask you something. Do you feel like America is back? Because I don't. You know, I've been sitting in this chair for a long time because I want my country back. I want America back. And I see all these MAGA types, right? Running around saying, America's back. We're so back. We're back. We're back, baby. Are you? It doesn't seem like America's back to me. Whatever's going on down there, it ain't the America that I've ever known. This isn't America. This is not what America's supposed to be. This is not what America has ever aspired to be. It's not the bright, shining city on a hill right now. I don't recognize what this is. We're so back. No, you're not. You're not back at all. Do you feel like it's back? Do you feel like anything has gone back to normal since the pandemic? Anything? It still isn't right. It seemed like for a while after Trump left, like things were slowly kind of moving back to some sort of normalcy, but it's not normal. And now he's back, and it feels so weird. Everything is weird. Everything's out of step. Everything's out of joint. Everything's, excuse my language, it's fucked. This guy is fucked. I'm ashamed to say that I ever said anything nice about him. Okay? Because this is effed. Whatever's going on, it's not right. This is not America. America's not back. America's been hijacked in some sort of I used to say democratic coup. I'll just say some sort of a political coup. I'm not even sure it was democratic anymore. I'm pretty sure it kind of wasn't, because I think there's just a ton of cheating that goes on in the US elections. Probably by both sides, all sides. They even try and blame that shit on Canada because of the voting machines. Excuses, excuses, excuses. Always flipping excuses from that joker in the White House. Blame it on somebody else. Always pointing the finger and blaming everything on other people. And it all goes back to him. The buck stops on his goddamn desk. He's the cause of all the problems. He causes the problems, then pretends like he's the savior and he's the solution to the problems. He's causing a crisis now at the Gordie Howe Bridge as it nears completion, after all the work and negotiations on both sides of the border by people on both sides of the border, Michigan, Ontario, Detroit, Windsor, provincial governments, federal government, state government, local governments. And this guy comes along and starts peeing in everybody's cornflakes so he can insert himself into the whole thing, throw a monkey wrench into it so that, tomorrow or next week or next year, whenever he sees fit, he'll just, he's going to come up with a solution, and then everything's going to look at what I solved. No, you caused the goddamn problem. And even the pandemic was his freaking fault. Any way you slice it, I've pointed out many times, he could have stopped all the lockdowns. He could have stopped everything because he was in charge. But the stroke of a Sharpie, but he didn't. He exploited the problem, fueled the problem, funded the problem up here in Kanakistan, the commie hellhole. I joke about it because it's a joke. It's not a communist hellhole. It's a liberal democracy. What's left of it after his attacks on our goddamn country. This is pathetic. I want no part of it. Close the bridge. This is my position. I don't care. I don't care. Shut it down. Shut it all down. Shut the whole border down. I want no part of what he's doing down there. I don't want to bomb people in fishing boats. I don't want to bomb people with no due process and kill them. I don't want to be involved in that. You want to combat drug trade? Let's make some arrests. I don't want to just start firing off missiles. I don't want to support that. I don't want to kidnap leaders of other countries, swoop in and just nab them, whether I'm in favor of what, as nasty as they might be. Not into it. I don't want paramilitary law enforcement in the streets, busting skulls and shooting people. Don't want that in my country. I don't recognize America. I said before, during the pandemic, I didn't recognize my own country. That's because we had too much of that kind of crap going on up here. What did I show you 2 nights ago? What did I show you? I showed you Trump saying, United States, Canada and Mexico, they do what I tell them to do. Yeah, because you're Godzilla and you put pressure on governments and you say, if you don't do what I tell you to do, I'm going to stomp on you. I'm going to shut down your bridges. I'm going to tariff you. We're going to shut down trade. We're going to accuse you of being narco terrorists. And maybe if you're lucky, we won't come up there with our helicopters, swoop into the Capitol and kidnap your prime minister. And then put him on trial in a kangaroo court, which has no jurisdiction anyway in another sovereign nation. But hey, you've got the nukes, right? So you get to do what you want. So you're going to go around beating your friends and family with a big stick, a big nuclear stick. Canada is your best frickin' friend. Canada is a sibling. Canada is there for you, even now, as you beat us up and punch us in the face. And then your paid media influencers sit there and blame Canada for all the problems that you're causing. Oh, I know what's going on. The average person can't see it. All they're hearing is that you love us, because that's what your messenger came back with. That's the messenger that delivered the I love you message. President Trump loves, no, he doesn't. He loves money. But he doesn't love us. He doesn't give a damn about us. He doesn't give a damn about Alberta. He doesn't give a damn about Puerto Rico. He sure as hell doesn't give a damn about anybody that speaks Spanish. I don't recognize America because America's not back. This is the furthest thing from America that there could possibly be. This is a communo-fascistic authoritarian government run by a psychopath and crazy people around him who are destroying America because you're beating up all of your best friends, your allies, alienating the rest of the world. You're isolating the United States from the rest of the world. You're fighting tariff wars with every other country in the West. Well, you suck up to the other world's dictators as you attempt to carve this world up into 3 spheres of dominance. And you think that's going to bring world peace? No, it's not. Look at what the hell's happening now. The other reason I don't recognize this country is because I can't believe that all of the countries now that are looking to possibly even acquire nuclear weapons. Do you know why? Because of you, Donald Trump, and your crazy mixed up ideas. Instead of embracing the alliances that you've had and maybe trying to make peace with adversarial nations, no, you've decided that you're just going to alienate longtime alliances, allies, and turn the world upside down while you enrich your oligarch friends. Destabilizing everything, making smaller nation states very nervous, and out of fear, more countries now seeking the bomb. What do you think is going on in Iran? They're petrified of the United States, so they're trying to get a bomb. Now, I'm not a big fan of the theocracy in place in that country, and I would certainly like to see more freedom in a country like that. But it's not my damn country, and I don't want to bomb them into submission. I don't really want to be part of that. You want to, apply pressure, whatever, man. Like, but you know what? Like, you're treating us the same as you're treating Iran. You're treating us the same way you're treating Cuba right now. Canada. We ain't that. And I'm pretty sure that even the countries that you accuse of being these nasty, terrible things, they're not as bad as you are making them out to be. I've been to Cuba. And I see what goes on there. I didn't like it there. You know why I didn't like as a Canadian? I didn't like all the anti-American propaganda that I saw in Cuba because I love the United States. So I found it offensive as a Canadian viewing the anti-American propaganda. But I understand why. Because of guys like you, Donald Trump. And because of what you're doing right now. And, blockades, embargoing oil, creating an energy shortage, trying to put pressure on the government by putting pressure on the civilians, making their lives miserable so that they'll rise up and overthrow their own government, which is exactly what you're trying to do to my country. And why? We're mutually benefiting from a long history of the longest undefended border in the entire world. And you're blowing it all up, man. For nothing. You're making it all worse. You're not going to get what you want. Because whatever, I don't know where this will all go, but I just know nothing good will come of this. Nothing. And I can see a lot of really terrible, tragic, horrific things possibly unfolding because of what is happening. Maybe even a lot of death. Because this is not going to bring peace. And if you really want to be the president of peace and you want to win a Nobel Peace Prize, this ain't the path forward, my man. I have to wonder if Donald Trump even knows what he's doing right now. Maybe he really does suffer from dementia. Because this is psychotic. And it's true. He doesn't even care about Puerto Rico. Doesn't care about people who speak Spanish. And he's making it he's normalizing hatred toward a huge portion of the population of the United States, Puerto Rico, and people there treated like second-class citizens. Hello, Alberta. Take a look. Puerto Rico is part of the United States, but it's not a full state. That was part of what the Bad Bunny performance was about at the Super Bowl. Here, I'll show you. Go back to Megyn Kelly being kind of a nasty person and very intolerant of people that she views as being lesser Americans. Because yeah.
It's a middle finger to the rest of America. Who gives a damn that we... I'm sorry, Piers, but to get up there and perform the whole show in Spanish is a middle finger to the rest of America. Who gives a damn that we have 40 million Spanish speakers in the United States? We have 310 million who don't speak a lick of Spanish. This is supposed to be a unifying event for the country, not for the Latinos, not for one small group, but for the country. We don't need a black national anthem. We don't need a Spanish-speaking, non-English performer, and we don't need an ICE or America hater featured as our primetime entertainment.
Okay, what is the national language, officially the national language of the United States of America?
I mean, English. And there's been a push for many years to make it an official,
you don't have one.
Documented thing.
You don't have one.
If you would have let me finish my comment, I would have pointed that out, that people have been pushing to make it official.
Okay,
right,
so you're trying to make official.
This attitude that you have right here is why you in Great Britain have lost your culture.
Oh.
You ceded your culture to a bunch of radical Muslims who came in and took over, and now it's gone. We're not allowing that here. Whether it's Hispanic, whether it's Muslim, it's not happening in the United States of America. That's why President Trump was elected. And whether it's Bad Bunny, who is American but refuses to speak English in his performances, or anybody else, we have to keep the Super Bowl, which is a quintessential American event. Football, that kind of football, is ours. They call it American football. And the halftime show and everything around it needs to stay quintessentially American. Not Spanish, not Muslim, not anything other than good old-fashioned American apple pie. There should be a meatloaf, maybe some fried chicken, and an English-speaking performer. That's what the Super Bowl should be.
Who here has been to Texas? I have. Anybody else? You know, you think of Texas, you think of this cliche, right? Everything's bigger in Texas. Don't mess with Texas. You think of cowboy hats and cowboy boots and cactuses and giant cows. Right? That's America. Although Donald Trump seemed to forget that Texas was even part of the United States recently, because he seems to be losing his mind. I've been to Texas a bunch of times. I've been all the way down to the border, far south as you can go. I've been down to the Gulf Coast, and down to Corpus Christi. I've also been to Nuevo Laredo. I've crossed the border into Mexico. You know, you go down to Texas, and it ain't just cowboy boots and cowboy hats and good old boys. There's a lot of Spanish-speaking folks there. You go to the Gulf Coast, and you see a lot of Mexican restaurants. Yeah, there's lots of people, Latinos, Latinas. It was fun. Lots of black people. And lots of cowboy boots. Lots of white folks. I'll tell you, when I was there, well, first couple of times I went, as a naive little Canadian in my younger years, it was an eye-opener. Because I love Texas. I love the weather. Generally love the people. But I'll tell you something. I ran into some real rednecks in Texas. And ain't that the truth? It made me real uncomfortable. And sometimes when I was working down there, briefly, in a sort of a joint venture thing, Anyway, it was a long time ago. Some of the rednecks was putting me to the test just to find out how racist I was. Was I going to be one of them good old boys? No. I wanted to move there for a time because I wanted to avoid the snow. I still love Texas and lots of real good people down there. Not all of them are rednecks, but I ran into a few. And when I was down there, man, I was like, I am so glad I am Canadian. It made me appreciate Canada more. Yeah. But they didn't appreciate Canada. They didn't really know much about Canada. In a way they did, because I was there and I was a novelty. They get a few Canadians down there once in a while, but generally they had no freaking idea. And they didn't know anything about our country. They didn't pay any attention. They didn't know. And so I was very exotic. And so most of the people extremely friendly, I have to say. But and even the rednecks were kind of friendly toward me because, I don't know, they just didn't seem prejudiced against a Canuckistanian. Because back then, I don't think, without the prejudicial overlays that come from Mr. Trump in the White House, portraying Canada as a narco-terrorist, money laundering terrorist, communist hellhole. Bullshit. Without that overlay of prejudice, we got along just fine. And I just left the racism alone and didn't engage. But oh, I saw it. And it was sad. And I saw the results of it too. I saw marginalized people. I saw slums in what otherwise was an extremely affluent community. And in my view, for no real good reason, other than people were held back. Solutions to these problems are at hand and can be had if there's the will. And if you can accept people and provide opportunity. But if you don't give a damn, some people get left behind because they're viewed as being lesser Americans, or maybe not real Americans. But they are. And they're there, whether you like it or not. And they ain't going anywhere because they're Americans. Just like up here in Canada, we have a lot of citizens that a lot of people today, because they're listening to all this bull crap shit, bullshit, they ain't real Canadians. Got to deport them. Yeah, well, they've got citizenship. Where I sit tonight ain't far from where abolitionists met to try to end slavery. This community here in Canada tied to the United States in that way. If you know anything about your history, Harper's Ferry, look it up. John Brown. Oh yes, Donald Trump, Canada and the United States tied historically, very close. But we ain't you. We're not the United States. We are different. We have a different history, shared but different. And we chose a different path a long time ago so that we wouldn't become what you have become. Oh my, how you have fallen into the abyss. May God have mercy on your soul. Because this ain't over. And I see it just getting worse. And for nothing. for nothing.
Maverick News. The world is watching.
That was my editorial for the night, I guess. Wow. Yeah, a lot of these influencers, the conservatives, whatever, the brainwashed. I don't know. Like they're going on about the explicit lyrics in the Bad Bunny performance, which were performed in Spanish, and it's true. He used some naughty references in there, using some words that I don't think would get. I'm sure they don't get play on mainstream radio during the daytime on like even FM. But that being said, it's this is just the America falling apart. It's America falling apart. Over the Super Bowl crap and oh my God. Because as they're complaining about the nasty lyrics, other people are posting this as a reminder. Here, look, they don't like the sexualized performance at the Super Bowl, but this is what was going on just recently at that big shindig at the White House, or not the White House, sorry, at Mar-a-Lago. And this is a very valid thing to point out.
I'm just warming up today. Oh my God, it's Halloween 25. I don't want to.
Yeah, and it ain't just the sexualized. It's the sexualized performance there so much. You know what it is for me? It's the decadence. It's the decadence. It's the display of wealth paying these people to dance around like that, and just the decadence and the cliche of it all. Here. But wait, there's more. But, you know, this also highlights the hypocrisy of America, the weirdness of what America has become. In Mar-a-Lago. Take the audio down so we don't get a copyright strike. It's the hypocrisy. It is so trashy and yet glitzy, and that it's so Vegas, right? It's like bright lights and shiny on the outside, and yet you know that inside it's so dirty. Yeah, it's bright and shiny on the outside, it's so dirty on the inside. Man. Because America is like that. I guess maybe the world is, but when you have wealth, it's always bright and shiny on the outside and sleazy and dirty on the inside, where you hide your hypocrisy. America, the Christian nation. And what did we show you here over the last couple of nights? The Sarah Stock, Elijah Schaffer, white Christian nationalist, conservative influencer affair that has been so disruptive to the MAGA movement, or more specifically, I guess, to the Nick Fuentes movement that Sarah Stock says is the leader of the movement. Whatever the movement is, I'm not part of that, so I can't really express or tell you exactly what that's about. I just have an inkling because I'm aware of who he is. But, you know, this is supposed to be a woman who is a trad wife, or going to become a trad wife, did get married. I'm a traditional wife. And this whole thing with Trump pushing traditional values, this guy in the White House who had a history, a long, long history of cheating on his wife and hanging out with porn stars, not just prostitutes, let's face it. And had that affair with Karen McDougal, the Playboy bunny. I think he broke her heart. I think there was actual genuine feeling there. But in true American style, her story was captured, I believe it was by the National Enquirer, by paying her for her story so that she wouldn't share it, wouldn't come out and say too much, and she wanted her voice back. That was what happened at the time. But in the course of exposing all that, she exposed her affair with Donald Trump. But this is the guy who's bringing back America, the squeaky clean Christian America. The hypocrisy smacks. It's so sad. America's not back. I guess in some ways he's more honest than I give him credit for, because he is just kind of doing things straight up, some things, like trying to take over my country. Yeah, I'm just going to make you the 51st state. We'll make your prime minister or governor. We'll see. New poll out tonight. New poll. Oh, but before I show you the poll, I'll show you what Christian nationalism is really all about. Here, I just came across this one. These are Trump girls. I'm going to take that audio down because you wouldn't want that rap music to get us, that white rap music, white Christian nationalist rap music to get us a copyright strike. Okay, yeah. I'm sure they're both going to make great trad wives. Better block that bridge. Wouldn't want any of our commie Canadians getting loose in the USA. Oh my God. How long before? Oh yeah, 3 more years of this. All right. Oh my God. Let's just go back to the Guthrie thing for a moment.
Crygo5616, who says if it's a ransom, they thinks that they would release her in a random place after dark. Crygo thinks that the video from Savannah Guthrie today could be asking people to help once she is released.
I don't think there's...
By the way, thanks also to Logan Newbert and Alex Banking. And also Jeff 0360 and Just Lost the Game and MRODRM, who says, could it be that this was planned by family? Some of you think the family could be involved. Thanks, Melissa Level, as well. Hey, big thanks to our moderators.
Yeah, in a case like this, you really should rule nothing out. You look at everything. You leave it all on the table. If you're an investigator, you don't just reject these kinds of things, even possible family being suspects, because it is absolutely possible. Hang tough. We're going to come back with more on the other side.
Maverick News isn't just a news outlet, it's a community of truth seekers. Your donation at freedomreporters.com fuels our mission to report the stories that mainstream media won't touch. Thank you, Maverick family.
Okay, I'm going to show you something else here. This is, maybe, I don't know which order I should show you this, whether I should show you the Benny clip, or if I should show you, I'm going to show you the Benny clip first, because I think his take on this is predictable, but not accurate. And I'm going to, because you guys are not low information media watchers, because you're hanging around here, I'm going to show you that what Benny says here is upside down, which is understandable given the upside down nature of everything we're being fed right now, especially from the guy in the White House. So I see why he would interpret things this way, but I'll just let him talk. Here we go.
So honored to have you. I consider you to be the absolute top expert in the streaming space. I want you to give us your unfiltered, unadulterated version of what just took place last night.
Well, thank you, Andrew, and huge congratulations, obviously, to the entire Turning Point family. You broke the streaming record of the most streamed entertainment performance in the history of YouTube. So that's monstrous. The world will never be the same after this. I don't think that there will ever be another NFL halftime show that has ever seen the same way. I think the NFL has so disgraced their core constituency, their customers. They've spit in the face of legacy Americans. It's been 32 years, Andrew, since they had a country act at the NFL. It's been since 1994.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And so the NFL has made this decision to systematically erase American culture from the National Football League. And I think it's critically important because we've seen the way that this is all gone, whether it's Cracker Barrel or whether it's Bud Light. There is this brain virus that says I'm going to betray my core audience in order to find the mythical, woke, progressive, queer, transgender, identifies as a cat, pees in a kitty litter box style audience. They're going to be my new customers. And that audience doesn't exist. The modern audience doesn't exist. And all of these companies that have tried this, they've failed miserably, but the NFL is trying it on the biggest stage, the biggest performance on our National Football League. Now, national, what nation? America. It is the American sport, football. Baseball is played around the world. Basketball is played around the world. Soccer is played around the world. There's a World Cup for that. There's no World Cup for football. This is our thing. And so to invite somebody who hates America and won't perform shows here because he's scared that all of his fans or himself is going to be deported by ICE, deport him back to Puerto Rico, it'd be kind of funny. He's still American, right? He has an American passport, but nonetheless, like he's...
Is that supposed to be funny? You're going to deport him back to Puerto Rico? Ha ha ha.
Scared. He said that. He said he's scared of that. He won't speak in English. The entire show was not in English. Not only that, the show couldn't even be viewed from the stands. There are clips now coming out of NFL fans going, what the hell is going on here? Everybody watching at home is saying, what the hell is going on here? It is a show that included debauchery, the kind of stuff that you wouldn't want your kids to see. That included grotesque alphabet propaganda. And that also included subliminal messaging about open borders and lowered the American flag in favor of all foreign flags. That's what they did at the very end. Bad Bunny comes out and says, America isn't actually a place. America is actually a continent. And you've stolen this land, and so we are the ones who are going to be the actual purveyors of what is America. When he says God bless America at the end, he lists off all of the nations he actually thinks is America. And America's not on there. And so this is what the NFL brought into our homes last night. It was every bit as malicious. It was every bit as woke. It was every bit as derivative and vandalizing as we thought it was going to be. And so what people need in that moment is not just to bitch on Twitter. And this is what we've learned. This is like sort of the Charlie school. This is what started Turning Point USA. Yes, there are a bunch of dirty communists in our education system. Yes, we would like to have those communists not indoctrinate our children. We should start something. We have to do something. You have to start something. You have to go create something, an alternative, hence Turning Point. But this was truly the turning point. Charlie loved football. He loved the NFL. And he loved creating alternatives. That's what America Fest is, right? And this is what Turning Point events are. This is the entire organization. And so this alternative saved us from the humiliation ritual that was Bad Bunny, and also the humiliation ritual of saying you can't do anything about it, chud, which is exactly what they want here. They want us to be helpless and say, no, you are going to accept our Bad Bunny show because it's all you have. You just cry online about it. And by creating the Turning Point halftime show, and by creating what Americans wanted to see, which is a country music act, which is an act that, like, in a room that probably, that you're watching it, you're like, it smells like cigarettes, it smells like a cigar, it smells like bourbon. You can hear the banjo playing, it smells like leather. The music is familiar and it's warm.
Yeah, I hear the banjo. Out of tune, out of touch. Mm-hmm. See, they've had country acts in the past. They could have country acts in the future. They could have country acts come back. This year they had Bad Bunny. I'm not really familiar with, Spanish. They speak Spanish. So they made a place for those folks at the Super Bowl. And they celebrated their culture, which is part of American culture. See, I was always taught when I was a kid that the United States was trying to be a melting pot, where you come to the United States and then they're trying to make everyone melt into some homogenous American thing. That's what their experiment has been. And in Canada, being a kid that grew up in the 70s, it was highlighted for me in school that Canada was on a different path and that we were trying to create a cultural mosaic where we didn't force people to give up who or what they are, that we're all Canadian, but you can still be who you are. You don't have to melt into something else to become a thing, a single thing, because, for me, what that means is that everyone is free to be an individual. And as an individual, you can be part of other groups if you so choose, if you belong there because of your background, your religion, your culture, your skin color, your language, whatever that thing might be. But there is always this common thread that binds us together, and that is, for me, being Canadian. A country that protects individual, or should, rights and freedoms because we're part of a mosaic that doesn't force me to melt into something and become something I'm not, or become something different. I can be me. Because in our society, not always the way it works out, but it should be, and I think, this is what I aspire to be, is a Canadian that embraces individuality. And I think the United States, in large part, really aspires to be that too, even as they insist upon homogeneity, unity, collectivism. Odd how that works, isn't it? Isn't that odd? The free society that talks about rights insists on compliance. Got to bend the knee. Screw your language. You must speak English, even though it's not the official language. You don't have one. I think there might be a reason you don't have an official language. Canada, we have two. What are you going to do, Benny, when Donald Trump takes over Canada? What are you going to do with all the Francophones? You going to mock them? Will they be allowed to come to the Super Bowl? What are you going to do with all them Newfoundlanders and their accents? What are you going to do with me when I come down there and start spelling words like color with a U in it? Or when you come up here, after you take down the blockade at the Gordie Howe Bridge and roll over it with your tanks to invade our country, and then come to my place where I've got the barbecue on for you. And when we're sitting in my backyard after you've invaded my neighborhood, and I start saying A all the time, I can't help it. It's just who I am. Are you going to make me stop playing ice hockey? Because the Chinese haven't asked for any of that I'm aware of in any of the trade negotiations that we've had with them so far. I don't think it's in any documents or any. No, don't think it was a condition of anything as they were dropping the tariffs on the canola. And as we said, okay, you can bring in a limited number of Chinese EVs. I don't play much hockey these days, but maybe I will. Kids are out in the street playing every day. I like that. I like seeing those kids out in the street playing road hockey. Car, move the net. Not too many cars on our street. Oh yeah, some of those kids are Muslim, by the way. Oh, and some other people over there, they're from, they're Palestinian. Car. I don't think the Chinese asked them to stop playing road hockey or ice hockey. We'll see how we make out at the Olympics. Canada versus USA. Hey, hey, hey. Go Canada, go. And go USA, go. Because you know what? It's win, lose, or draw. It's only worth winning if your opponent is worthy. And if you lose, there's always the next tournament. There's always the next Olympics. There's always tomorrow. And there's sportsmanship. Right? Being a good loser. And being a good winner. Uh-oh, red alert. I'll be right back.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals. Defenders of individual rights and freedoms. Credible. Trusted. Grounded in reality. Maverick News. Maverick News. Defending free speech. Free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
just want Donald Trump to be a good winner. Okay. You win. You won a long time ago. You're still the winner. Stopped acting like a petulant child, a spoiled little brat. Because it's dangerous when you do that. You have weapons and you scare people. Anyway, Benny's wrong. He's wrong because I think maybe everybody's on the one side anyway. Right? Because why? It's not about see, he's not viewing what Bad Bunny was showing you, I think, in the right way. Bad Bunny wasn't there to well, he's saying what? That it's not America and you stole the land and all that kind of crap. Okay. No, you're missing the larger picture. You're missing the larger picture. Oh, by the way, well, okay, I'll come back to that after. I'm going to do a little bit of a Twitter X scroll for you to illustrate my point. Okay. First of all, starts off with Steven Crowder, who's also just a little bit misguided. I kind of like Steven Crowder. He's a smart guy. He says, Bad Bunny shouting out countries while holding a football that says, "Together we are America," says more about his propaganda than it does about America. The countries he celebrated have cartels controlling territory, triple-digit inflation, record homicide rates, political opponents jailed, cocaine as a top export, communist dictatorships. Paraguay is pretty cool. The U.S. is still better by every metric. Well, I don't know if these comments are entirely fair. I think some of the cartel talk is, well, certainly true for some of the countries, not for all, and exaggerated in some, especially here in Canada. Triple-digit inflation, yeah, it could be. And why would that be? Because of sanctions, embargoes, and tariffs and economic warfare being waged against these countries by the United States. You know, when you limit the supply of, say, oil going into Cuba, you reduce the supply. Guess what happens to the price of fuel? It increases. Yeah, probably triples. By the way, gasoline, because of the tax breaks from our Canadian government, today in my community, $1.15 a liter, which is a lot less than it was at $1.60 or $70 or $80 or $90, $1.90 sometimes under Justin Trudeau. $1.15. I'll take the tax cut. Thank you. Anyway, record homicide rates. You've got those in the United States, my friend. Political opponents jailed. You've got those in the United States, my friend. Lots of that going on. In fact, today, what am I seeing? Oh, the sentence handed to Steve Bannon for his role in the J6 incident and his unwillingness to testify in order to protect Donald Trump from prosecution. They're looking at overturning that at this point. And I'm not sure what that will mean in the long run, but you've got a justice system that is highly politicized, and that is a damn fact. Cocaine is a top export. Yep, we get lots of drugs from the United States flowing into Canada and illegal guns. And we take it upon ourselves to take responsibility for that at our border to try to curb that. Communist dictatorships. Well, I hear that being leveled against Canada, that accusation too, but it's not true. We talked about that at length and actually asked Grok about it 2 nights ago. And Paraguay, haven't been, can't say how cool or uncool it is. But the U.S. is still better by every metric, not compared to Canada. It's not. And you can look at a lot of the different metrics and organizations that measure things like democracy and freedom, and you'll find that Canada consistently ranks higher than the United States, including on measurements like quality of life. And we don't have as many ultra-rich people in Canada, but we have, on the whole, less poverty. But I digress. Let me scroll down to make my point. And this is the point that I am going to highlight here. Together we are America. That is the message from Bad Bunny. And he's complaining that this is some sort of propaganda, just like Benny did, saying that it's an insult to America, that it is showing that it's not America or something. It's kind of weird. Anyway, Bad Bunny naming dozens of countries. This is Spencer Aldhouse in his post. Bad Bunny naming dozens of countries in the Americas and then holding up a football that reads, "Together we are America." Such an iconic Super Bowl performance. Wow. Yeah, you can look at it that way. I'm not sure that's entirely accurate either. Because if together we are America, there he is holding up the football. He didn't say those words. They're written on the football. What is it saying in the comments here? Ashen A, this is exactly how you use your influence. He didn't just perform, he made a statement that dissolved borders and highlighted the strength of the entire hemisphere. Chills. Ha ha ha. Yeah. I think that guy's onto something, even though he doesn't realize he's onto something. Are you cluing in? Are you cluing in? Hello, Mavericks. What have I been saying? Look, here's that post. I'm going to bring it back up on the screen. Now look what follows. Look what follows in the social media thread on X, the #1 propaganda social media platform in the world, the most powerful, the most controlled by the U.S. government, I would say, at this point. Okay, so there he is holding up that football. Together we are America. Just scroll down a little bit. Small government, the future, America. And they're talking about unifying the hemisphere. And he named all these countries. And you think that this is about individual nation states preserving them? I'm not sure that was really the message. I think people get so confused. Is that the future America? Gee, Benny, what are you going to do when Donald Trump finally does realize his Don Road doctrine dream? And you end up with American flags over all of North America, South America, Central America. What are you going to do with all those Latinos? What are you going to do with us commie Canadians? What was the message at the Super Bowl? Together, we are America. See, it's not the smaller countries taking over America, Benny. It's not the smaller countries dominating the United States, Stephen. It's the plan to carve the world up into spheres of dominance. It's the United States asserting its dominance under Donald Trump over this entire hemisphere. And while people are thinking that everybody's fighting and that you're on different sides, you don't even know what you're fighting for. Most people don't even know what they're fighting for. I don't think Bad Bunny even knows what he's fighting for. He is a tool of the media. He does what he's told to do. He sings the songs. He's a performer. He delivers messages. Is that messaging coming directly from him? Did he control all of that? Did he put that whole show together? That was put together by a giant team. And then it was broadcast out to the world. Certainly to America. But it went beyond. America came into Canada. It came in to South America. Everybody saw that. What's the message? Together, we are America. Unity, collectivism. You see, that wasn't a Puerto Rican flag over that map. That wasn't an Iranian flag. That wasn't a communist hammer and sickle flag. That wasn't a Chinese flag. It was an American Stars and Stripes flag over everything. And what did Bad Bunny do? He called out all these different countries. And it wasn't, you're all upset because he's singing in Spanish. But what's the real message? Oh, he mentioned Canada. Is Canada a Spanish-speaking country? We have some people who speak Spanish here, but we have two official languages, English and French. And our English is Canadian English. It's a little bit different than what you guys practice down there in Ameristan. No. The littler countries, they're not going to take over America. They're just trying to survive. That's what I think Bad Bunny is trying to say, but because he's controlled and told what to do and where to stand and where to hold that football, and because he's rehearsed and he's like, yeah, make sure at the end you put that football right in the camera with that message. That message is everything. That's the plan. Some would say, can't stop the plan. You see, it's not that I don't want to get along, but I'm sure as hell going to try. Because that plan, that's not about individuality, and that's not about preserving the sovereignty of nation states. That's not about self-determination. That's about compliance. And the people delivering the message and the people getting it, it's been delivered so slickly that they don't even realize. That's the propaganda. That's the information warfare. That's what's going on. There is a battle on right now for your mind. Wake up, Mavericks, if you're not always already awake. You have one eye open, please open the other. I'm doing my best here. I could use a little help. And thank you to all of you who are along for the ride with me. It's going to be okay. I don't know how, but we're going to get that damn bridge open. And just remember, it's the Gulf of Mexico. It's the Gulf of Mexico. See you tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, on the flip side.
Didn't pick this fight, but here it came. Now I wanna play in a traitor's game. They sell us out for a tax cut deal. Shake his hand while they rob and steal. They call us blind, they call us weak, but they're the ones on their knees to the thief. Wave our flag while they burn it down, marching to the sound of a tyrant's crown. They're bought and sold. Trade our land for American gold. Singing his tune, dancing his way, but they'll cry for Canada when it's too late. Yeah. Trump traitors selling us out, burning our home for a tax break. Now they stand with the wolves, spit on the brave, but they'll beg for Canada when it's in its grave. They talk real tough, but they bow real low, licking his boots while they put on a show. They chant his name, raise their fists up high, while the real ones fight to keep us alive. They don't fight fair, they twist the truth, say they're the future, but they kill the roots. They laugh now, but watch them run when the north wind howls and justice comes. Traitors selling us out, burning our home for a tax break. Now they stand with the wolves, spit on the brave, but they'll beg for Canada when it's in its grave. One day soon the tide will turn, and traitors pay when the fires burn. No statues raised, no banners flown, just names in dust where the traitors roam. Traitors selling us out, burning our home for a tax break. Now they stand with the wolves, spit on the brave, but they'll beg for Canada when it's in its grave. Trump traitors! Trump traitors! Trump traitors! Trump traitors! Trump traitors! Shame.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.